Hello everyone, Phil Swift, religious sect here. What do you know? I'm not Phil Swift, but whatever. Um, Today we're just gonna analyze this battle between Volibear and Darius. So, um, according to a lot of professional LoL players and LoL YouTubers, Darius is a hard counter to Volibear. And Volibear has a very low win rate against Darius. The main reason for that is because one, Darius's lead is really good against his passive because it's like sustained damage. And two, Darius has an execute, which is his ultimate, that also deals true damage. And that can be really bad for Volibear. But here in this match, things are actually a lot more interesting. The Volibear that is playing here is, well, myself. Right now I'm in like silver 5. I'm very low elo, but still. I played this matchup not like too badly. So here I had to retreat because like Darius had a huge minion wave and like I couldn't like fight him at level 1 because Volibear is like very weak at level 1. So I essentially had to like space myself out, not let like Darius basic attack me or use his Q. Here the Volibear made a humongous mistake. I mean the Darius. Here he was like way too close to the turret and used his Q. And here I pretty much just ignited. I used flash because just in case he flashed away. And I also used ignite because I thought he was going to like survive. Or at least to secure the kill. So that mistake from Darius was something that would like pretty much affect him throughout the entire laning phase. And pretty much throughout the game, like that was the one mistake that marked our victory in the blue team. Here Darius made yet another mistake. He apparently decided to save teleport even though he was somewhat behind. Here the Darius did a huge mistake as well. He didn't space himself out with his Q. But that also means one thing, and that is when fighting against Darius, try to stay inside his circle. Like inside, not like outside. Like when he's starting to use his Q, try to either walk out of the range or just use your Q to gain bonus movement speed and your E to like interrupt his movement. Here I got a pretty simple double kill thanks to my passive. Volibear's passive is a really good passive because it's one of the best passives in the game because it's very good in the early game. It gives you a lot of early game dueling potential, and in the late game it's also really good because it scales with your health. It's like you heal 30% of your missing health if you're below 30% health. And it's all for 5 seconds, so yeah, it's a very good passive for that reason. It's like a mini Dr. Mundo ultimate, and we all know how deadly that thing is. So I decided to retreat after killing the Darius and the Quinn, because I didn't have like enough mana. Although to be fair, the teleport in the end of the day like wasn't like that terrible. I mean, it was a bad option, but it also kind of secured the fact that like I was gonna get into a killing spree and like once Darius uses his teleport, he's gonna like not get behind. He's gonna get more CS than I will, and he's probably gonna push hard enough to attack my turret with his minions and his cannon. So here I try to bully out the Darius pretty much. That was kind of a weird option from my part because of the fact that my Q range was like very close, and like I actually hit Darius with my E and I could just flip him there and deal some damage. But for some reason I decided to just E him. And that, as you can see, is not a very good option. Volibear is definitely not a spacey or a poke champion. I mean, like, his E damage isn't really that impressive. It's only like actually interesting once you combo it with your Q. Because like if you use your Q, you essentially knock up the enemy into the air, and Volibear's E deals bonus damage if the enemies are knocked up or knocked back. Or at least if they're in the air. And Volibear's E is actually a really good ability because it's one of the best disengage tools in the entire game. Because it's a knockback, it's a light knockback, and it's an AoE, which means that you can like disengage a ton of champions. And you also do really well against a lot of champions just for that reason, like Zac, Poppy, Jax, Tryndamere, maybe even Yasuo. I mean, I've fought against Yasuo in the past, but that past was when like I wasn't a very good Volibear player, so I mean I'm still not that good, but still. I'd prefer to like show you guys a more recent game of League against Yasuo. So as you can see here, I brought Ninja Tabbies. Ninja Tabbies is very good in against their team composition. Like they had Darius, they had Quinn, they had Teemo, they had Misfortune, and those four champions like rely heavily on auto attacks. And like buying Ninja Tabbies was really good against them. It reduced Misfortune's ultimate by quite a bit. And I also bought some armor, mostly because like their team was also very armor based. Like the only one that had magic damage at all was like Quinn. I mean Lux. And Lux in that game wasn't like threatening at all. She was the support. One thing to keep in mind against Volibear is that I mean against Darius as Volibear is that, for one, Darius can heal out of his Q, so get on top of him, use your E or your Q to like stay on top of Darius, and that will like make Darius struggle a lot. Like his Q damage is like Darius relies a ton on his Q damage, so just stay on top of him. Secondly, never challenge Darius, because, well, at least never challenge Darius from level 1 to level 6. I mean to level 5, because, like, Darius will probably beat you with his passive, unless, of course, you, like, manage to dodge or, like, not get hit by Darius's Q-Blade. If Darius is under tower, be very careful, because Darius's E will slow you down by 50%, and combined with his W, he's pretty much gonna root you, and like you're not gonna be able to escape with your Q. And you're going to like receive a ton of tower damage and melee damage, and you're gonna just lose the lane pretty easily. So there, as you can see, I got yet another double kill. I pretty much just attacked the turret. I didn't really mind too much about like waves and stuff. I wanted to mainly just attack the turret. That is something, I think that's not a very good strategy though, because like, for one, you like, if you want to get fed, you need to have a huge CS advantage against the top laner. Because like, kills don't really matter if the top laner just has more CS, because like, the top laner gets just one kill, and he's probably just gonna be equal against, he's gonna like have equal levels against you. And as Volibear, that is something that you do not want. Like, you want to abuse your mid game as hard as possible, because like in late game, you're very good in late game, because like you're gonna be super tanky. You're I don't remember the name of the Valor rune, but it basically gives you permanent HP the more like units you kill, or something like that, and like that is really good because Volibear's W scales with bonus HP. So once you're like in the late game, you're going to completely destroy a lot of carries. Like, you're probably gonna be even stronger than most carries, because like, even if your damage as a whole will fall off, that won't matter, because you're like, Volibear is designed to be a tank, but his damage is designed to be the one of a mid lane, I mean a mid game, and top, I mean early game juggernaut. Probably messed up that line very hard, but whatever. So here, for some reason, the jungler Master Yi didn't like want to take the Herald, so I was like, fine then, I'll just take it myself. And the Herald actually helped us a lot, because like we used the Herald to gain a humongous advantage. I mean, we already had a humongous advantage, but like getting Herald would just help us a lot when it came to split pushing and like getting objectives. Like with this one Herald, we managed to like destroy 2 turrets in the top lane, and we abused that super hard. Something that Volibear has that Darius doesn't is that Volibear's team fighting is a little bit better, because even if Darius has his E, that's pretty much it. His W is just a single target slow. His ultimate is single target and it only works against like low HP champions. His Q like heals him, but it doesn't like, it's not necessarily an AoE. But Volibear is a different story. Like his Q dispositions enemies. So like you just Q the AD carry or like the enemy front line and you'll just destroy them. Unless of course, well, depending if they're like very tanky or not. Your E is an AoE, and it's an AoE knockback, so it's very good against. It's not only very good for like stopping approaches, but it's also very good for like engaging and like crowd controlling your entire team. And finally, your ultimate is an insane basic attack steroid. A lot of people underestimate this ability way too much. It's a very underrated ability, or at least a very underrated ultimate, because people think like 75 damage isn't that much, but like keep in mind that it's a steroid buff that dures for 12 seconds, which is a really long time, and you can hit multiple enemies at once. So not only can you like literally kite the AD carry, you essentially force them to like attack you, and that's essentially what you want as Volibear, because if they like try to engage on you, just disengage them with your E. And Volibear's built-in escape is pretty decent. Like his Q gives him bonus movement speed, and his W is also really good for like executing enemies. So combine that with Triumph, and you're pretty much going to be unkillable and heal a fuck ton of HP. Grievous wounds won't be that bad because like Volibear usually uses his passive to like get in. If he's low, he just gets out, he heals a bunch of health back, and then he just gets back in and he kills everyone. And Darius's team fighting isn't that good because like Darius, unlike popular belief, Darius isn't actually that tanky. Like his Q might be very good for like healing a fuck ton of damage. I mean a fuck ton of health, but like it's not like Darius. If you like build him a lot of say AD, he's gonna be ridiculously squishy. And like if you're behind as Darius, you're gonna be very useless for your team because of the fact that like your engaged potential is non-existent. You're not tanky enough to like survive the team fights. You're not really mobile enough to split push properly. Volibear is actually a pretty good split pusher, even if his wave clear isn't that great. His attack speed is very, very strong. At least the attack speed that he gains from his W. And that's not even taking into account the Titanic Hydra passive. Here I took a dagger. The reason for that was because Volibear, I was very ahead in this game, and like I wanted to have like a little bit more attack speed because my W, well, gave me more attack speed. So there, as you can see, I don't know how much I took there, but like I did receive damage from the Quinn, and at the same time the ultimate from Misfortune. And as you can see there, the damage got reduced by quite a bit. Actually, I mean, I wasn't really like full build tank because like I took a dagger and like I didn't have like that much HP. Like, I mean, I had more than 2,000, but like I wasn't a true tank yet. And only until I'm like 3k health, at that point I can be considered an actual tank. Surprisingly enough, Volibear's like stats in the early game aren't that terrible. His armor is surprisingly high, and like his magic resistance is also somewhat high. He also has his passive. It's the only like true healing steroid in the game that can like give you like some of the best sustain in the entire game. Like you can just stay in lane, receive a fuck ton of damage, and then out of nowhere you just heal all of that damage taken up. And that's why Volibear has a pretty decent win rate against Trundle. Because like Volibear's passive is a pretty good counter against Trundle's early game lifestealing. Sure, he halves your AD, but that still won't change the fact that your W is really good against him. Because like you're gonna win some of the early game trades against him somewhat easily as long as you like don't fight Trundle for that long. Like you have to short trade against Trundle, and Volibear is very good against short. Volibear is very good in short trades because his W deals percent HP damage. So like the more you like attack with these short trades, the lower the enemy is, and like the more advantages you have, because Volibear is also really good against champions that want to like get in for short trades, because like you can just disengage them and beat them, and also Volibear can just out sustain them, because like say for example Volibear is up against a Garen. They're both like about the same HP at level 5. Volibear wins the lane because Volibear just healed all of that up. So back to Darius Volibear matchup. Darius can't really trade against you if you have your ultimate up. Like even if he has his ultimate, if you stay inside his Q, you're gonna beat him somewhat easily. And like your passive will probably help you out too a little bit. I mean, I personally think that Volibear versus Darius is a somewhat even matchup, because like it all depends on how well the Volibear or the Darius plays. Like this Darius didn't play well like at all. In fact, I don't think this player even like mains Darius, and like that costed him the entire game. Like nobody on their team did well. This was a very good play from my part because I pretty much just flashed in against their AD carry. And as you can see there, I actually engaged super hard on the Misfortune because like she was dispositioned with her ultimate. So then I kind of just got in and I killed her. Like I didn't necessarily one-shot her, but I did somewhat like deal a fuck ton of damage to her because I was like 2 levels ahead of her or something. I was like 1 level, but still, I dealt a lot of damage to her. Since I was like ahead of everyone, I could just like all in on the misfortune for free. Our team also had like a ton of team fight potential. Like Vagar had his E, or was it his W? I don't know. Leona had her engages. Jinx had her what was it called? She had her E pretty much, and like that's a very good route. And of course, I had myself, Volibear with his dispositioning power and teamfight priority. And Master Yi, he was doing very well too. I mean, I was doing better than everyone, but still, he was doing very well. And he was also like somewhat fed. So yeah, that is pretty much the Darius matchup. Just not get hit by Darius's blade, abuse your level 6, try to make short trades against Darius, and that's and avoid his E, and that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do against Darius. So as you can see here, the game is pretty much about to end. Here I engage super hard. There my passive was actually super useful against the Teemo poison. As you can see there, I healed a fuck ton of HP. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.